so you all can jump on if you miss this. We're all Q&A today, answering whatever questions you have. And if you miss it, you can always inbox me, and I'll do my best to help you with whatever gardening questions you've got going on that you need some help with. I have seeds in my I have seedlings in my egg cartons that are still small, but they will to size. They need to be in that container. They will. What kind of? It depends on what kinds of seedlings. They will grow. They usually will grow to the size of the. It depends on what you're growing. The thing about egg cartons is that a lot of times they're made out of cardboard, which is a fantastic thing to grow them in, but you do need to stay pretty on top of it with the water. If you notice, if you're growing, like I have some in plastic cups and some in egg cartons, cardboard egg cartons, and what I find is that the cardboard dries out your soil a lot faster. So you really have to stay on top of your watering more with the egg carton, the cardboard egg cartons, than you do, say, from a plastic cup. They will fill out. They won't go any bigger. They peppers, yeah. So your peppers in your egg carton will do fine, but while they're growing, they're going to quickly fill. The roots will quickly fill that space of a small egg. So you want to make sure it's a plastic one. Okay, so it shouldn't dry out. It's a plastic carton. It shouldn't dry out as fast. But once you get a good sized seedling, by the time it's sort of yay high, I mean, it's really, the roots have really started filling out that little egg compartment. So you want to start planning to, what you're going to put your peppers in. I'll show you this. I'm sitting in front of a lot of my seedlings. Little plastic cups like this. This is actually a cauliflower that I'm starting. I'm actually very late starting cauliflower. But a little simple plastic cup like this is a good move up from egg carton. So once it gets to a certain height, you can turn around and put it in this. I just put a little drainage hole on the bottom. And that, you just keep moving the sizes up. And by the time it fills something like this, truth be told, it should be warm enough for it to go right into the garden. And I think you're in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, which means it should be very, very soon able to go out in the yard. Thank you for the tea. It should be able to go out very soon. I'm driving my family nuts. I've got seedlings everywhere, and I'm loving it. And my daughter's saying, literally everywhere. That's okay. I've got them in cookie sheet pans and cups and old pots that the plants come in. I've got them in everything. But yeah, it's a good move up. Yeah, once it gets to be, yeah, you absolutely move it up to a cup. You want to make sure it's got plenty of room, because what'll happen is if the roots can't grow, it stunts the growth. So if you have a big pot, that plant can expand to its maximum potential. But if you keep a small pot, no, you don't need to wait till the leaves grow really big to transfer it. Absolutely not. Nope. You get your primary leaves from your seed, and then your first set of true leaves behind that. But your pot size, the bigger the biggest pot that you can plant your plant in is really the best way to go, because then you don't have to move it, and the roots can have all that room to stretch, and the plant can grow to its maximum potential. We plant in little seedlings and stuff so that we can get a lot of seedlings going in time to go in the yard. But the truth is, yeah, if you've got plastic cups, I would absolutely move your peppers to a plastic cup. I mean, it's just, they really are fantastic mediums in terms of recycling. A lot of people use them at parties and stuff and throw them out, and it's, to me, I just rinse them out. I'm not going to drink out of them, but I rinse them out and I use them for seedlings. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. Ask away. Peppers and tomatoes grow pretty deep roots, especially tomatoes. So you want to give them whatever room you can. You know, I've got a lot of little things going on, but I also, you know, I've got stuff like this. Oh, I can't. It's too heavy for me to. I got too much stuff in there. But I've got, you know, I've got cookie trays. No, it's okay. Thank you. I've got cookie trays with old cookie sheets with soil in them, where I've split up seedlings. It's not very deep, but it's enough to get it going. And by the time it's big enough, the stuff that was in the cups will be outside, and I can transfer it up to a cup. So it just really depends on your space. And put them in the garden box. You just don't want to put them out too soon. Well, check your average last frost date. If you're down south, I would put money on the fact that it's already passed, because here in Jersey, yesterday was our average last frost. Take the past 10 years, I believe it is, to give the average. But with tomatoes and peppers, I really would wait 2 weeks after that date just to be sure, because they don't do well when frost hits them. Frost, and when you get a freeze or a frost, it's literally freezing the cells in that leaf structure, in that plant structure, and then when it thaws, it expands too quickly, and it's basically like bursting the cell structure of that plant, and the plant can't handle it, and therefore the plant dies. So I would wait, check your average last frost date, and wait 2 weeks after that to put your tomatoes and peppers out, just to be sure. If you're concerned about it, you can do like I said before, take a bottle. Let me show you, hold on. If you're really itching to put it out, you can take a bottle like this. You're not going to plant it in here. You're going to plant it in, say, your cup. No. You're going to plant it. I'm live, guys. My family. You're going to plant it in a cup like this and put it on top. Put this on top. And it's like a little greenhouse outside in your garden. So you've got it. And you can actually take the bottom off of this and sit it right down in the dirt, so your plant's already starting to grow. And if you're worried about last minute frost, take the bottom of this is actually a sparkling water bottle, but pop bottle, anything like this. And this actually has 2 layers on it. I didn't know that when we did it, but it has 2 layers on this thing. So you could actually take it off and use each one. Or if it's really cold, leave it double layered. Pop it right down in the soil, let your stuff grow. And as it really warms up, you take it off. You can cut the cup off. If you can't pull it straight up, you can just cut it off. And your plant's already in the ground. So just a thought to that. Yes, you can use glass jars for your herbs, even though there's no way to put a hole in it. But be careful with your watering. Just don't overwater it, because if you overwater it, the water has nowhere to go, and your plants drown. So don't drown them. Don't drown them. I'm gonna put them in. Yeah, you think it had last frost, but take the bottle. Take this idea. Find you some plastic bottles. Everybody's always throwing them away or recycling them. I recycle them at my house, and make that a greenhouse. Anything like that. You can do that with milk jugs. It doesn't have to be super clear. You can do it with milk jugs or whatever. If you do it with something that, bring that here. If you do it with something, thank you, sweetheart. If you do it with a milk jug or something that is not clear, relatively clear, make sure you take it off during the warmth of the day, so that that plant gets all of the sunlight and the diversity of light UVs that it's supposed to get. This is the other end of that bottle. You can cut that bottle in half and use the top half and the bottom half and cover your plants, yeah? Just a way to kind of recycle while you're at home. Hi, Lady C. So I've been finding all sorts of stuff to use for greenhouses. I mean, it's just fantastic. I actually have, if you really want it to be, I don't know that I would want to put this outside because of the quality of it, and I wouldn't want it, I use it in my fridge. But this container, I could actually turn upside down on top of some seedlings and on top of some seeds, and same thing, it's greenhouse concept. Um, and the other reason I like the, using things like this is because it helps to keep mice and birds in particular from eating your seeds, which is a big issue for me here on the farm. I get birds, I've got a structure around my garden, but the birds like to fly down and eat my berries, eat my freshly planted carrot and lettuce seed and all of that. So having little things like the bottles helps to protect my plants. Otherwise, I have to grow extra just to make sure that I have enough for my family. And that's a bummer. That's a bummer because it's not, I won't say it's a waste of seed because you're feeding nature around you and, sacrificing to nature so that, they're happy. I don't know that I want to do, how much of that I actually want to do. So what else you got? Yes, I'm looking for way. Okay. So what's your situation? Cause have you got garden boxes? Have you got a yard? Have you got patio? Where are you? What, a sunny window? What's your situation? A lot of critters. Yes, we have a lot of critters here. We've got voles and moles and mice and birds and raccoons and squirrels, and then you got the big ones like the coyotes and the deer. And the coyotes don't tend to eat my veg, but the deer do. So, and then I've got birds, so I actually have to protect my plants from my geese and my ducks and chickens and turkeys and stuff. So what kind of critters have you got that you're trying to protect your garden from? Patio and large deck. Okay. That actually, it makes it easier to protect your plants when you're on a hard surface like that, because you can make little cages. They're super, super easy to make, and they can't dig. So in a sense, when you're working with a patio and large deck, when it comes to critters, you've actually got it a little bit easier because you're not trying to protect something that's on the open ground that can be dug up. So if you're planting in raised beds, all you're going to do is there's something called hardware cloth, and all it is little, it looks like chicken wire except it's squares instead of being an octagonal. And as you just buy a roll of it, you go to, look on Home Depot. You can't go right now, but look on Home Depot or Lowe's website. Home Depot is usually a little cheaper because they're geared towards contractors. Squirrels and deer and raccoons, yeah. So you want a cage. So you're going to take a little stick. You're going to just basically take a little stick, and you can put it in each corner and just use zip ties. Hold on, my batteries. I'm just trying to get my battery. You're just going to use zip ties in each of the four corners with the stick, and you can zip tie that hardware cloth to the four corners. Or if you want to be a little more fancy, you just buy a little stapler, wood stapler. I think there's something like $25, and you can staple that hardware cloth all the way around and on the top, and just sit it right on top of your patio or deck, and just make sure that you make it high enough to keep the critters out. And it's a really simple cage. Literally think four corners. You don't have to do a big old box. Four corners big enough to cover your plant or your garden bed if you're using one. And that 1/4 inch is what you want. If you don't have a mouse issue, you can do 1 inch, which is 1 inch is cheaper than the 1/4 inch. You can do that. And that will keep out squirrels, deer, and raccoons. And if you're worried about them lifting it, just buy a slightly heavier wood, maybe a 2x2 or a 2x4, and one in each corner, and staple that hardware cloth to it. You'll be good to go. And my battery just. All right, sorry about that, guys. My battery died. I had to run upstairs really fast to plug it in. I have to get better at not doing that. All right, so we were talking about the cage for your patio. So if you're using a raised bed, just pop a 2x2 here here, here, and here, and make it tall enough to get, not tall enough for your pot, tall enough for the height that your plant is going to be in your pot, and cover it that way. If you're doing a raised bed, it's a little easier, because if you're a bit handy, you can always put hinges on it, and then you just flip it up and down, and you don't have to attach it. You don't have to attach it to the bed. If you're not so handy, you still don't want to attach it to the bed, but you'll have to lift it off every time you want to, do any weeding or pruning or whatever. But if you're a little bit handy, I would really suggest you get somebody to put some hinges on there and raise it for you. If you're dealing with tomatoes, that's a little harder to protect. You probably are not going to be able to protect tomatoes with a cage. Once they start growing tall, it's hard to protect them from squirrels. When it comes to squirrels and raccoons, one thing that you can do is you can get chicken wire and put it on stakes like a little fence around your garden, but you have to let it go back, the top of it. Don't connect it to the post. Let it hang back so that when they climb it, their weight actually pulls the fence back that way, and they fall off. That's the way that most people protect their plants from raccoons, if they're not going to do any sort of hard investing in fencing. But it is a bit tricky to do. I don't know why I can't see comments or anything. That's someone inboxing me. That needs help. Yes, okay. How do I get rid of stink bugs? Okay. How do you get rid of stink bugs? Someone's just inboxed me. I wish, and honestly, that's not something I have an answer to. I have not figured out how to get rid of them. I have never had to deal with stink bugs until I moved to New Jersey. So I'm afraid that that is unfortunately something that I'm just having experience with that I don't have an answer to, but I will try to find out and get you an answer. And I know we were talking about the critter cages, so we did an entire session on critter proofing your gardens. So if you haven't had a look at that and you still have questions about protecting from squirrels and deer and things like that, please do go back and have a look. I've made them public on my profile page, so you can go back and have a look at those. All right, you all don't forget to be safe. God bless, and don't forget to live life full out and garden on. And I can think of like 50 more things to say, but I'm going to say I will see you Monday at 4 o'clock. And if you have any questions for me regarding your gardens or any of the topics we've already covered, or you've got topics that you want me to cover, please do inbox me and let me know, and we'll get it on the schedule. And I'll see you soon. Take care.